Hey guys, what's up? Today's video is going to be about basically why I love World of Tanks so much and why I play so much and why I still stick around. Yeah, first off, I'm going to start off with I want to be, in 2026, I wanted to become more positive about everything. I don't want to talk so much about the negative stuff necessarily because there's a lot of positive, and I want that to also come over to World of Tanks and my whole channel, I guess you could say. I would like to be more positive about the game because being negative on it, I mean, I will definitely talk about the things that are, not good, but I don't want to just complain to complain because it doesn't really get you anywhere. Yeah, we all see this, we all see the problems, whatever, but there are a lot of good things about this game, or I wouldn't stick around and still play. As long as many of you do, a lot of you still play the game, and there's a reason you play the game. You don't just play to play. It's a video game, so there's no reason you should be playing something that you hate. So there's obviously something you like about it. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. I want to be more positive. And yeah, I'm going to start off with why I play. First off, I've been playing this game for almost 12 years. I've been playing since I was 5 years old. My dad used to be, we both used to be into war games together, and World of Tanks came out in 2014. And later, this was probably around December time, around Christmas. And at that time, World of Tanks was a free new game. We downloaded, we played. I've had a lot of fun memories with the game, just playing with my dad, and that's part of the reason why I still love it so much, because of the nostalgia. And we used to play all the time. And the funny thing is, he used to work so hard and he would grind his E100 line. And I was very young at the time. Like I said, I started at 5 years old. And I used to sell all the tanks he would work hard for to buy these crappy little tier 3s and 2s. And when he'd get home from work, he'd always be frustrated with me because I would always sell all his tanks. So that is when I then was told I had to make my own account so that I can't do that anymore and I could do it to myself. So then that was probably about 2015. I then made my own account, and this is the account I've been playing with ever since. One big reason why I still love this game so much is whenever you come into situations where, I mean, this can apply to really anything. I will remember one moment specifically. This was a few years ago, and I was in the ELC BIS, and it was on Live Oaks. And at the end of the game, it turned down to be a 1 versus 5. It was me versus 5 other players. And I remember thinking, a 1 versus 5, I could get a Colabanos medal. I don't have one of those. I've never gotten one of those. And I remember picking off the tanks one by one by one. My heart was beating so fast, and I ended up winning that situation, which was my first Colabanos medal. There is no other game that I've ever played, and I've played a variety of different games. I've never played another game that gets my heart going and stuff so much as WOT does. And the feeling of joy when I can pull off those kinds of situations, it really makes me so happy. And for all the bad games and the frustrations that you have in the game, these, for me at least, they confiscate way over that, and it's a better feeling, and I don't really know how to explain it. I don't have another game that makes me as happy as this one does, even though it does frustrate me sometimes. Another reason why I love it so much is I love history, and it is one of my things I think about most, and I love studying for history. And World War II is by far one of my favorite periods to study. You know what this game is heavily based on? World War II. It does have Cold War as well, but World War II, as I would say, is its main game mode. It has so many different tanks from World War II, and it has concept tanks, it has real tanks. It does have made-up tanks, which I'm not a super huge fan of, but some of them I do think are cool. And they have a game. They have to make money or whatever, so they have to produce content for us. So they have to make up stuff, which I know some people get mad about that, but I honestly don't mind it as long as they look somewhat in line. And they have came up with some really cool tanks, I think personally. And there's just so much variety of tanks. I mean, there's I don't know the exact number. There's got to be 900 to 1,000 tanks between World War II and Cold War now. I know it was close to that number at one point, and that means there's that many different options you can, do. And there's a lot of free stuff you can do. I mean, you can go down. There's so many tech trees you can go down. I've only grinded, I think, 26, 27 tech trees, something like that. Maybe not even. And I've put a lot of time into that, and I am nowhere near the end. There are so many more tech trees that I haven't even tried, because it just takes time to go down them. So there is a lot of content. Some people may say it's kind of repetitive. Yes, it can be, but that's when you got to try new stuff. You can't keep playing same positions over and over. You got to try new stuff, and that's what brings joy and happiness for me, at least, into the game, is trying new stuff, learning. Maybe I go to a different spot on this map and I find a new position that I don't see anybody use, and it's an amazing position. That is just something that I learn, and that's now a new thing I can go and do, and that creates kind of extra content for myself, is just by learning. Another reason why I love this game, I don't know if I've ever played another game with such a high learning curve. That can be a good thing and a bad thing, but I've been playing this game for almost 12 years, I'd say now, and there's still things I learn about that I did not know. Like all these little tricks and stuff. I mean, I would say about 95% of this entire game. I know how pretty much everything works. However, there's always stuff that I don't know, and I still keep learning. However, this can be frustrating at the beginning, as it's very difficult, why people are shooting you when you can't see them, and why you can't pen things, However, once you put the time in, it is very rewarding, I would say. At least for me personally, I think it's very rewarding. And now that I've put the time in and I understand the game and I'm good, this is what makes it the most fun for me. And you may think it's only fun once you are good. That is not true. It was actually very fun learning and getting good. Because when you discover these new things, it's like, wow, I had no idea this is how people were doing that. Or I had no idea about this or that. And when you finally learn it and you finally can achieve it, it's such a good feeling. Or like even little tricks you can do with shooting. And like one thing that I remember learning was gun blocking. When you're fighting with other heavies and you know that he's firing heat, you can shove your gun into his gun and it will just block the shot basically. I remember when I learned that, I could save myself so many times over and over from gun blocking. And that was just like a simple little trick that I didn't know about, but it made me so happy when I actually learned it. Another reason I still play is for clans. I know this is probably a bit of a niche pick, but I love clans because of the community you can create and all the different players you can meet. And there's a lot of really cool people out there, and people you can play with and have fun with. And just like, you don't even always have to talk about the game. You can talk about all kinds of things. It's just something I really love. I think clans is a really cool thing. I guess they're actually called regiments, but I call them the old name clans because that's what they're known by. I'm never going to call them regiments. And this is a very cool addition to the game. You could maybe go out to make the best clan, or you can make the most friendly clan, or the most, you can do it by age. If you are a older player, you can make your clan, all people your age. I think that's very cool because you can create your own little community inside of this game of the players, that you want. That's just something I've always thought was really cool. One other thing I do love about this game is the customization. It's not quite to where I'd like it, whereas if I do play PC, World of Tanks PC from here to there, and they do have even more customizations on their tanks. However, there are some good customizations in this game with all the different camos and stuff that you can make, or that you can put on your tank, and you can customize with your own decals and flags, and now they do have clan flags even that you can add, which is something that I really think is cool. I absolutely love that because I love making tanks my own. My favorite colors are blue and yellow, so when the blue and yellow camo came out, they have a Swedish camo and a season pass camo for regiment points came out. I was so in love because I could now put my favorite colors on the tank, and I can make all my tanks blue and yellow. That might sound like a small thing, but like to the visual eye, I just love seeing my tanks all in that color. There's all kinds of colors they keep coming out with too, and I really hope that Wargaming, especially, keep putting out these camos. They're really cool. Another thing, 3D skins. I love the 3D skins. Some I like more than the others, but like there are some that are just, they're so nice. Like I love the Brass skin. That is one that I think is really cool. The Kranvagen skin, probably the best one out there in my opinion, with the Swedish flag over it. That looks just absolutely beautiful. The Rhinoceronte skin, another great one that I love. The blue and gold. Especially, I saw a guy gold mark the tank. Oh my gosh, did it look amazing. The gold marked with the blue and gold. Oh, it looks so good. So I do hope that you keep putting out these skins, Wargaming, because these things are absolutely amazing. Something that was added somewhat recently, or more than not added, but actually changed, was the equipment. Before, you could kind of make tanks your own build by changing the equipment. You know, if you wanted a light tank, you could maybe put, you know, more gun stats on it. If you wanted to play it more as a sniper, or a Soto medium, you could try to change. Or if you wanted a TD that had good camo, you could kind of do that, and you could make it play like a light tank a little bit. But now, since they changed the equipment and they gave you a 4th equipment slot, and they changed the crews completely, so this also goes into this, you can make all kinds of very fun builds, especially now that you have an extra equipment slot. One of my favorite builds is on my IS-7, which is probably maybe my favorite tank or my favorite heavy tank, amazing tank. I run full speed equipment and ramming builds on it. And some of the times you can have with this, especially if you're in a 3-man platoon of all you guys doing that, the laughs you can have with these builds that you make. Like, I remember sometimes we will go on these maps and we'll all go together, and we'll go to a place that's not, you know, where a regular tank, you might take your heavy tank, but you might find a hill, like on Prokhorovka, for example. Whenever I have my ram build on my IS-7, I go to the hill, and if there's 3 of us, we all just go rushing down and ram the tanks. And it is so much fun some of these times, and the laughs you can have, because when you're hitting a grill for all of his health, you know, and you lose like 200 health from it, it is so much fun, and it's something that I just love. And you can do this for all kinds of different builds. You can make maybe the most survivability build. You know, if you go on your T95 or something, you could go all for like suspension and tracks so they can't blow off your tracks. You know, throw on armor angling so you get more health, you know, technically. That is just another build you can do. I mean, there's so many different builds you can do that. It's so much fun, and you can just make whatever you want, kind of. And I'm sure there are builds that people haven't even tried that you should try. Just, you gotta experiment. Some of them work, some of them don't. All I will say is I love the IS-7 RAM build. That's gotta be my favorite. So, I don't really plan on quitting this game anytime soon. Another reason is I just have so much time invested in it. I'm at like, I think 24,000 games now over 12 years, which technically isn't even a lot compared to some people. For me, that is a lot of games. I will say that is a lot of games. It's a lot of time in this game. I don't plan on quitting anytime soon. I will play this game till basically the servers end, which hopefully isn't for another 5-10 years. We'll see. Hopefully it isn't for a long time, but I don't really ever plan on quitting. I may, you know, not play as much, as I'm playing like 700 games a month, which is a lot. But I would never quit entirely, unless they do something so, you know, bad to the game that they ruin it, but they won't. I don't think that would ever happen. So I'll be playing this basically till the end, and yeah, that's going to be mostly it. Those are some of the things I love about this game, and some of the things hopefully, you know, you guys might like. Please tell me in the comments what you guys love and why you play this game. You know, why do you play every day or once a week or whatever? I'd love to know. But that's going to be it for now. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.